Well, today we're going to install a brand new suspension on this '72 Corvette. These cars are getting more popular, they're good looking, they're fun to drive up to a point, but they're using 60-year-old suspension technology. What we've done is started with a clean sheet of paper using the stock chassis, bolt-on parts, and we've optimized the front suspension geometry, the rear suspension geometry, give you lots of adjustment. So you can bolt this on a car, you can cruise down the street, you can drive it hard around the racetrack, and best of all, you don't molest the originality of the car.
The Ridetech kit is simple to put on. It doesn't require any specialized tools. If you have a drill, a floor jack, and jack stands, you're golden. We're fortunate enough here to have a lift, so we're going to use it. We start with disassembly of the front suspension. We remove the sway bar and sway bar mounts. Remove the lower shock bolts. Remove the tie rods from the dragwon. Disconnect the brake lines. Unbolt the upper shock mounts and remove the shock. To remove the coil springs, we'll start by loosening the upper ball joint nut. With the nut still in place, break the upper ball joint loose. Using an appropriate spring compressor, compress the spring. Remove the ball joint nut, and as you swing the lower control arm out of the way, remove the spring. As you remove the lower control arm bolts, leave one nut in place until you can support the control arm for removal. Now from the top of the car, remove the upper control arm.
While this bolt-on suspension will work with all of your stock steering, we're going to go ahead and upgrade to a brand new Jorgensen power steering box to get rid of all that leaky old slave cylinder stuff underneath.
Install the washers and lock nuts on the control arms, making sure that the dimples on the lock nuts face out. Referencing the Ridetech instructions, install the centered caster slugs into the upper cross shaft. Attach the lower control arms to the chassis. Install the upper control arms to the chassis, noting the upper cross shaft has an arrow that points to the front of the vehicle. On the upper control arm, we start with one shim in the front and two in the rear, and we'll do final alignment when the installation is finished. You will be required to resize the upper shock mounting hole to accommodate the new Delrin bushing. Install the coil-over assembly into the chassis and tighten the adjuster nut until there's a slight drag on the Delrin bushing. Install the bearing spacers and attach the coil-over to the lower control arm. We use the Ridetech tall spindle on this application. It gives it more camber gain, and it also allows you to use several brake options. It uses the same as the Camaro or the Chevelle style brake, so it's easy to get brake components for this in aftermarket. We now install the steering arm and steering stop. Note that the steering stop is marked D and P for drivers and passengers. Install the tie rod stud into the steering arm
What we're looking at here is our true turn system. As a piece of metal, it's worth about 30 cents a pound. But what it represents is weeks and months of engineering and optimization for your steering linkage to eliminate bump steer on these cars. Back in the 50s, when you were using tall tires, bump steer was acceptable, almost designed into the car. In today's cars, you're using really short tires, so any variation in the toe change, which is the definition of bump steer, is going to make a dramatic difference in the way the car feels and how it handles and how it drives down the highway.
Assemble the tie rods according to the Ridetech assembly guide. Install a tie rod into the drag link adapter and the heim end onto the steering arm. Using the supplied lithium grease, lubricate the inside of the sway bar bushing. Install the bushings and mounting clamps to the bar. Loosely install the bar to the chassis. Measure the ends to center the bar. With the bar centered, now tighten your mounting bolts. Now install the clamp collars. Install the arms to the bar. The arms need to be clocked correctly. Tighten the arms and install the posi links.